There we go. Okay. Okay. Try this again. Yeah. All right. So for those of you watching the recording, you didn't miss anything. We're just going through the rundown of the course. There we go. Yeah, so after that, we'll do a quick group discussion. I'm going to talk to you about my expectations as well as ask you your expectations for the course because it's your education. We'll do a little bit of teaching on an issue from RIT to COMM. And then there's a second lecture that I've shared. We're not going to have time to cover it in this live lecture, so I've recorded it. I've put it up on YouTube as of like Sunday, Saturday. So hopefully, no, not hopefully, please. I will post all the lecture materials on Monday at 7 a.m. So I'm going to ask you to make sure you have watched all of that before you come to the Wednesday 3 p.m. session, right? What is Wednesday 3 p.m.? Today I'm teaching. Next week and for the next 6 weeks, it's only going to be a homework lab and a office hours. All right, so no lectures. All lectures from this point forward will be recorded. So you're going to be best friends with our YouTube channel. And by the way, these summer courses, they are split between 2 professors. So I'll be teaching the first 7 weeks, and you're going to have another professor for the last 7 weeks. Yeah, she's wonderful. A little bit about me. I am a part-time teacher at Fanshawe. I'm also a writer and an entrepreneur and a coach and a dad. And so you can find me at these places, but I'll tell you why I teach. I really want to give students the skills, the tools, and the character that will help them, you, become successful, fulfilled human beings. It's not just about filling your head with terminology that you're going to forget once you leave Fanshawe. I want to teach you practical, useful knowledge about how to do well in your work, but also to be happier. So here's a course overview. Let's look at the course outline and the course plan. You're probably familiar with all of the, well, hopefully you know your way around a FOL page in general, but here's some helpful little things you want to look at. And first thing to know, I'm going to post basically everything you need to know and do in this announcement section every week, Monday, 7 a.m. You're not going to get an email or anything like that. I don't do modules. You're going to get a notification. That's it. But set yourself a reminder to check Monday mornings or whenever you have time to read these. So what have I shared here in this announcement? Welcome, weekly announcements, the Zoom link. I'm not going to keep sharing this every week, so bookmark it, put it in your calendar as a recurring event. Michelle might have a different Zoom link, but after 7 weeks, we'll let you know. Anyway, so if you please read these carefully every week. I'll share important links. Here I've shared with you the first assignment, which is due next Wednesday at the end of day. So you have one more chance to come to the homework lab and ask questions. You've got a discussion post, right? We'll get to that. And then here's a link to the video lecture. I'll do this basically every week, right? I'm going to share a few links to YouTube videos that it's me talking, maybe some little assignments that are optional, but the lectures and the assignments every week. And I'll attach the PowerPoint slides that I'm using today. Okay, another thing you want to check out is under the content section, the course outline. So here, 2 very important documents that you'll want to read for every one of your courses. You probably know this already. There's a course outline and the course plan, right? It gives you a general idea of what you're going to learn, what the prerequisites are, the description of the course, right? At least skim it, right? Because this stuff is going to tell you how you get a good grade, basically, right? The other document I find even more useful is the week-by-week schedule. This is the one they give to everyone doing this course, right? Every professor has a slightly different way of teaching this course. And the reason for that is because we do have 25% of the marks are discretionary, which means we can assign it however we want. I do a couple quizzes and discussion posts and things like that. Your second half professor will have different ways of marking it. So look at that. But more importantly, when you go to course information and click on course schedule and due dates, this is going to tell you exactly what's coming up from now until I think it goes into June, right? Up till reading week. So for example, this week, here's what we're covering in the lecture. Here's your assignment, right? And I'll add textbook reading as well. So you have a discussion post. It's worth 5% of your grade. It's due in May.
Prof, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Do you post in Pulse app like a notification at the same time?
Do I post what, sorry?
Like in the Pulse app, like it's a Pulse app from Pancho. It notifies the activities or notifications.
I've never used it, so I don't know. I won't be posting.
Okay, I'll just based on your FOL postings and announcements.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not familiar with the Pulse app. I've heard it's an option, but I've never used it. I wonder if maybe when you have it, it will automatically connect to FOL. Like the announcements will be posted, like I said, every Monday at 7 a.m. So it is your responsibility to go and look for these things, right? It will give you under the bell here. All of the notifications will come up.
Yeah.
Right. It'll tell you about due dates as well. But really, I need everyone to go and look at this closely, this class schedule, and put the dates in your calendar now, because FOL doesn't always, push a notification to you necessarily, right? So it will be your responsibility to mark these dates down and not forget them. So yeah, have a look at that. It's there should be no surprises. What else can I show you? Our discussion boards, you know how to use those, I hope. When you click on discussions, here it is. It's a week 1 discussion. Basically, read this article and give me a few of your impressions, and then write a response post to somebody else's post, right? So this is due next Wednesday. This is already assigned. Some people have done it already. Fantastic, congratulations. And I made a note of plagiarism here. Yeah, go ahead.
How many responses do we need to reply on?
Just one.
Only one?
Just one.
Yeah.
Yep.
On that one.
Just one. Yep. Write a second response post in response to analysis. Yeah. Yeah. That raises a great point, Julie. A lot of students lose many marks because they're not reading carefully, right? I have done my best to be very, very, very specific and detailed with every one of my communications, right? As a communications professor, I should be pretty good at that. And so don't lose marks by not reading carefully enough. Sometimes you got to read things twice to understand exactly what is being asked of you, especially on quizzes and things like that. So yeah, that's just a blanket statement for everybody in the class. Cool. Discussions, we're not doing group surveys, evaluations. So if you want to see your grade, there you go, click on grades. You want to see the quiz, that'll be released when the time comes. There's one quiz on my behalf. Your other professor, Michelle, might give you more quizzes, I don't know. Rubrics, these are how you will be marked. So if we click into this, for example, we have a case study coming up, right? You click into this and it's going to tell you exactly how you get 100% on this assignment, right? So in this case, you're marked on content, structure and organization, readability, and then your style, grammar, punctuation, right? And on the left column here is a level 5, right? 5 points. So 5 times 4, that's 20 marks for this assignment. And here it tells you exactly what you need to do to get a 5. And here, exactly what you need to do with structure to get a 5, right? So with every assignment, this will be linked to a rubric. Go look at that before you start your assignment and find out what you have to do to get a perfect mark, right? If that's your goal, right? If you just want to pass the course, I feel sorry for you, but hey, some people, they're okay with just passing. And then if you want to see all the assignments coming up, it's under submissions, right? So not the discussion post, not the quiz, but every writing assignment will be here, right? And these will only open when the time comes, right? You won't be able to access them yet until we've covered the lecture material, right? So next week we have academic integrity writing assignment, okay? And I'll explain that next Wednesday. So one thing at a time. What else can I show you? Yeah, that's basically the gist of the FOL page. Does anyone have any questions so far? What else can I tell you? yeah, so those weekly announcements are key. Make sure you read those carefully. Watch the pre-recorded lectures before our Wednesday homework lab. Come on Wednesdays at 3, same Zoom link as today. I'm not going to keep sharing it, so just make sure you bookmark it somewhere. And I say here Sunday deadlines. That's a mistake. Wednesday deadlines. I discussed with the other prof, and we changed it to Wednesdays, just so I'm consistent with her. Okay. Let's do a little bit of a group discussion, shall we? I know there's not too many of us here, 13, but I have 3 questions for you. And I see something in the chat. I would very strongly prefer that you just shout out your question, because I can't see the chat very easily. But the question here from Aryaman is, do you discuss the assignments in YouTube lessons too? The answer is no. I will only discuss the assignments in the live homework lab on Wednesdays. Right? Okay. So questions for you. Number 1, why are you taking this course? Number 2, is this course an annoying requirement that you don't need? And number 3, how could what you learn here help you get your dream job, right? Because that's why you're at school, presumably, not just to learn. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take 2 minutes for each of you to just think on your own individually about these questions, write down your answers. And then after 2 minutes, I'm going to break you into discussion groups with Zoom, groups of 3 or 4. I'll ask you to, together as a group, discuss the answers that you came up with. And then while you're there, pick one member who can take notes and share the answers with the rest of us when we come back to the main room. We'll do 5 minutes of share on that, okay? So I'll set a timer for 2 minutes. And if everyone could just do this on their own, we'll have some answers at the end. Okay, go. I'll leave the questions up. You might want to screenshot this, because when I put you in groups, it'll go away. May I ask, what program are most of you in? Are you all in accounting or business or?
I am on accounting.
Accounting, okay.
I'm in business marketing.
From business. I'm
in business marketing.
Business marketing, yeah, okay.
I'm also in business marketing.
Great, great. Good to know for me, so that I can tailor my lectures. Good. Got about 30 seconds left for our solo thinking and writing. Great, great. That's my cursor. All right, I'm going to break you into groups now. Discuss the answers to those questions, and then we'll come back and we'll share. And hey, I know some of these questions are silly, so have fun with it. Don't take it too seriously. Breakout rooms. Here we go. Let's see. There we go. 3 people per room. Here we go.
to get your dream job. Yeah.
Okay, we're coming back.
Oh, it was so fast.
Oh my God. It was
Oh, too
That was
fast?
so fast. Yeah.
Sorry. I moved very quickly. Did you need
No
more?
problem.
Did you need more time?
No, I
Sometimes
think
because
it's
because
We're
okay.
just starting.
we are discovering each other. You know, we are meeting each other by the
Yeah.
first times,
Oh,
and
okay.
we talk about the same situation that we are, and sometimes the discussion is getting a little bit longer.
I see. Yes. Okay. So I'll note that for next time that we'll have a little bit more time in person. Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
But it is what it is. We got to move on. So because we only have an hour. Normally we'd have an hour and 45 minutes in person in class. So we gotta move. Okay, back to the questions. Who would like to start by answering the first question? Why are you taking this course?
so
Oh,
I can do it.
go ahead.
Renata
No,
just
go ahead,
Fabiano.
Fabiano.
We are
Yeah,
the-
go
Fabiano,
ahead.
go for it.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Hit it.
the answer is quite simple because it's a part of the program for the business
Yeah.
marketing in my case, and it's
You
part
got it.
of the program of accounting business accounting in the case of Renata. So
Yes.
it's just because of this we did not select this course to do.
Okay. Yeah, it's communications is mandatory for every
Yeah.
Fanshawe student, right? I'll explain why a little bit later. But you nailed it. Yeah, you have to take it, right? So it's part of your course.
Right.
Okay. Anyone else? Is this course an annoying requirement that you don't need? And trust me, you won't hurt my feelings. Who else would like to speak?
Renata told me something that was interesting. We don't know yet if it will be annoying.
Right.
It's necessary and it's good for shape us and to mold the way that we need to express ourselves in
Cool.
a corporative environment. But we don't know if it will be annoying. I believe
Right.
that will be fun, right?
That's a wonderfully diplomatic answer. You're already a competent communicator. Wonderful. Okay.
We will discover during the course, right?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Did anyone else have any other answers come up for this one? Is this just an annoying requirement that I have to take?
I think the fact is, Fabio like literally hit it bang on. We don't know if it's going to be annoying because we don't know what material is going to be thrown at us, but I do believe it's going to be highly valuable because communication is such a vital component to what we're going into.
Yes.
And if you cannot communicate effectively and listen, then how are you going to move up in a position?
Very, very good argument. I was scrolling TikTok a little earlier today and I saw Simon Sinek and he was saying 100% of clients are humans. 100% of employees are humans. 100% of investors are humans, right? And so if you can't talk to humans, if you don't know how to speak and communicate with human beings, people, you will have trouble in business, right? So it's a very good business skill to have. We're not dealing with robots and levers and mathematical equations. We're dealing with human beings. So, yeah, I'd like to think this is an important subject, but I want to hear from all of you. So, let's go to the third question. How could what you learn here help you get your dream job? Somebody else that we haven't heard from.
Yeah.
Oh, don't make me call on somebody. That's awkward. Somebody is got to be ready to speak with something. There's no wrong answers here.
I personally think it's really important for you to have communication skills to get your dream job. Because in any job, you have to be able to communicate. That's like the basic requirement. And
Yes.
especially in business, most of our jobs are like interacting with customers or managers. So
Yeah.
you have to be good at explaining what you're selling.
Yeah, exactly. And some of you might go on to entrepreneurship, building your own businesses. Some of you might simply want to start, back up a few steps, just get a job, right? And some of you may have had jobs or you have jobs currently. If you have a job right now, it's because you communicated well. You communicated your skills and your value to your employer, right? And that's why they hired you. And it will continue to serve you. If you can't communicate well, either in person or in a resume or a job interview, you probably won't get very far in your career, right? So I think it will help you get your dream job someday. Anybody else want to throw in some final last words? Anyone have a comment they're burning to add to the table here? Okay, we'll keep going. Let me tell you quickly about my expectations. Participation. We're off to a pretty good start, but I would love for everyone to be engaged, participating, showing up, right? I say that the homework lab / office hours is optional, but I'll tell you right now, the people that show up will get better marks. People that show up will get, I'm going to give you what are the core concepts for this week that you need to study so you do better on the test and that do better on your assignments. Each week I'm going to give you, maybe I'll even tell you what's on the quiz. Maybe I'll tell you how to get 100% on the assignment. I will walk you through the assignment. I will X, Y, and Z, right? I'm gonna help you succeed. So participation is key. Show up, be here. Make sure you watch every lecture weekly, which I'm posting on YouTube. Watch it before you come to the homework lab, because I'm not teaching on the Wednesdays anymore. I'm just answering questions mostly and giving you an explanation of the assignment. A lot of students, oh, you're losing so many marks because things are being submitted late. Complete every assignment on time. Forget last minute. I can see what time you submit your assignment. And I know that a lot of them are 10 minutes before the deadline. And guess what? Those people are statistically more likely to get a failing grade or a 50 or a 60 than someone who did this like 3 days before the deadline, right? So many times I hear, oh, my computer crashed. There was a tech problem. I couldn't upload it. I'm sorry, but like everyone else got it in on time, so you're going to lose marks. My late policy is 10% per day lost. Up to 3 days after that, it's a 0, right? You don't want to lose marks for being late. Please ask questions. Be engaged, right? What's the purpose of college, right? It's not just to prepare you for the work world. It's also a place to debate ideas. And I want to make sure that you know all ideas are okay here, right? As long as they're respectful of other people, they're not racist, they're not sexist, things like that. There might be some views that your fellow classmates or maybe I have that you don't agree with. That's okay. Being uncomfortable is totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It might not feel good, but it's a part of being in college, right? Debating ideas. The other thing I'd like you to do for your, not just for this course, but for your college career is set some goals for yourself, right? What do you want to achieve? You want to get 50s and pass? All right, that's one option. Or maybe you want to set yourself a goal of like 85% as an average, right? You decide. And then come up with a plan to succeed. I had a little note about nap time here. It doesn't apply because we're not in a real classroom, but obviously you don't want to fall asleep in class. Hopefully I don't put people to sleep. Plagiarism, this is a key one. I'm very, very brutal and zero tolerance on this. If you copy paste anything from a source on the internet or a book or whatever, first of all, you will get found out. Turnitin is crazy good. Turnitin will compare your document against every website out there, everything that's been submitted by students from all colleges and universities around the world for the last like 4 decades, right? So it's impossible to cheat your way through this class, right? I fail students every single semester because they have cheated. I'm being really, serious about this because I don't want you to do it, right? And if you're confused about this, talk to me. But we'll do a whole lecture on plagiarism next week. But please don't do it because the penalties are severe. First time you get written up, you get a 0 on the assignment. Second time, you get a 0 in the course. Third time, they boot you out of Fanshawe and they do not give you your tuition back, right? I've never seen it happen, but I can use that as a threat. Expectations continued. Be professional, right? Have respect for your peers, be honest, have integrity. Come to this Wednesday meeting on time. I start right at the hour at 3 o'clock, not 3:01. Please be on time. In fact, there's a saying that on time is late, early is on time. So come 5 minutes early. I told you about my policy for late assignments. Please use your FOL account to contact me. Don't send me from your personal email or anything like that. And hey, do your best work, right? This is your education, your grade. Accommodations. Some people need extra time, extensions, things like that. most people will go through Fanshaw's accommodation office and like get a formal something in place. Just talk to me, right? You don't have to share the nature of your accommodation or your challenges. I don't need to know. If you want to share, that's fine. But I'm usually very reasonable. If you come to me before a deadline, say, hey, listen, my dog died. I need extra time, or like I'm moving house, you know, things like that. I get it. I can be flexible if you let me know in advance. But if someone comes to me like a week after the deadline and says, hey, I was not feeling good, I'm going to give you a 0 because I have to hold everyone to the same standards. If you need extra time for tests, quizzes, book those now. Contact me ideally before a crisis. Very hard for me to give you retroactive help. It's not realistic. My commitment to you is I'm going to try to get back to you within 2 business days on emails. As I said, I'm part-time. I teach 2 days a week. So I'm not always looking at my email like every second. For marking, I try to do everything within the week that it's due, which means 7 days. Sometimes the longer assignments, it takes longer, right? I'm available face-to-face. If you have some kind of specific need or concern, we can set up a phone call or a Zoom meeting. You know, it's rare, but sometimes it happens, right? And let's laugh. If I'm being too serious or not fair or something like that, call me out, right? I'm willing to listen to your opinions and be flexible on things, right? So call me out in a nice way if you need to. So let me ask you, what are your expectations now to your education? What do you want to accomplish? Is everything I've talked about, is it fair? Is it not fair? Maybe you want to ask me now or talk to me now, or maybe you want to email me after and chat with me. So the floor is yours. I have a question from Argument. Where can we watch recorded Zoom videos? So I'm going to post this recording on the YouTube channel. If you haven't been to the YouTube channel yet, I would strongly recommend you get acquainted with it, bookmark it, subscribe, whatever. Then you get a notification when I post new stuff, which is always Monday. Well, usually on a weekend sometime. Yeah, what are your expectations? Anybody have some concerns, thoughts? I can wait. We're all good then? Cool.
Prof, I have a question. I would like to
Yeah.
confirm it. Like, we have a live session every Wednesday, right?
Yes.
Regular live session. Okay, thank you.
Yes. Same Zoom link that you used to connect today will be the same one used for the first 7 weeks. After that, I'm gone. Reading week, you're going to have a new professor after that. She might do things a little bit differently. So you want to pay attention when that transition happens. But for the first 7 weeks, same Zoom link, same time every week. I don't think we have any holidays in that time. So I'll see you every Wednesday from now until like the end of June, basically. Yep. Any other questions? Comments? Okay. I'll share with you 2 other resources which you can access in the slides that I've shared already. The Learning Center is great. It's a place where you can literally, I think now you can go back and visit it if you need some academic help. It's available free to all students, like homework help. They'll set you up with like a study group, something like that. Very helpful if you want some support. I recommend it. And Student Success Services also offers a few programs through the Student Success Center, room F2110 on the London campus. Things to do with like your housing, tutoring. There's a sharing shop if you have any concerns about accommodation. There's an ombudsman's office if you have a complaint about anything at Fanshawe. Very helpful stuff. Okay. You can ask me a question anytime. That's why I'm here. If you don't have any questions, I'm going to teach a little bit. Cool. Great. Close that one up. Okay, so I've called this one From RIT to COMM. Hopefully you're familiar with what is RIT, right? These are just really course codes. RIT is sort of the level 1. COMM is level 2. So we're here in level 2 today. Okay, so why does a RIT program exist? long time ago, decade or more, employers at Fanshawe and around the province, around the country, they were complaining that a lot of Fanshawe students were coming out of college and they couldn't write very well. They couldn't speak very well, not to the level where they needed to, right? This is not just a problem with Fanshawe students, it was across the board, across the country, right? So in response to this feedback from employers, Fanshawe College started what was called the RIT project. Same thing happened across North America, right? There was a real shortage of people who could write and speak well coming out of colleges and universities. So now we have the RIT program. Whether you went into RIT or you skipped RIT and went into COMM, depended on this test, right? And I think you all took this test before entering Fanshawe. It was a placement test. Excuse me, I got a bit of cold. I think you've all taken this. It consists of that, there's a essay writing portion and there's some prompt responses, and you were graded on this by, I think, 2 or 3 evaluators. They would say, okay, you're going to be placed in this level or that level, right? Depending on the quality of your communication skills, right? This is the rubric they use to grade you, right? So everyone that got a score of 1 to 3 were placed in level 1, which is RIT, right? So you almost certainly, if you needed the help, you would have done a RIT course already, right? Students who received a score of 4 to 6 were placed in level 2, right? I want to tell you that I don't care, and it doesn't matter whether you started at level 1 or level 2 placement, right? Everybody now is at the level where you should be competent to communicate at a certain level, right? So forget about whether you already went through RIT and you did that, or you just got put straight into COMM. Doesn't matter, same thing. Okay, so what were the main goals of the RIT program? Improve reading comprehension. This is understanding, right? And basically that means your ability to read something and summarize it or paraphrase it. 2 slightly different ways of regurgitating that information. Another goal was to improve your writing, right? Are you writing with proper grammar? And I can tell you most students are not, right? Even I have some little deficiencies here and there, and I've been a professional writer for almost 10 years now. It's okay, our grammar will improve as we go through this course. Sentence structure, yeah, definitely a challenge for a lot of people. We'll fix that as well. And then the final goal for the RIT program was to improve your critical thinking, right? Not just how you write and speak, but how you think. That's extremely important, and it's a core component of any college program, right? Can you use your logic to understand something, analyze it, and then make an argument? And can you provide proof or some kind of support of why you think this way, right? Critical thinking. That's all of these are also the goals of our course, right? Now I've called this the most important course, right? And I'll tell you why in a minute. So a lot of students see this course as not very important, frankly, right? Especially, in some programs like music industry arts, for example, not to pick on somebody, but they think, I'm gonna just be making music. Why do I need to know how to communicate? Why do I know how to write an email? Well, the reality is you might not get the job you want right out of school, right? You might not become a DJ or a fashion designer or a mentalist right out of school. You probably will have to take a job that's entry level when you get out of school. Okay, and so no matter what career or job you go into, you do need to have some kind of communication skills, right? This is the Conference Board of Canada. They're a think tank. Can anyone tell me what a think tank is?
Is a think tank more like brainstorming?
They do a lot of brainstorming, yeah. Anyone want to hazard a guess? What is a think tank? You probably hear this on the news a lot. This think tank came out with this report that says this. No? Okay, that's fine. I didn't know what this was for a long time too. A think tank is simply a group of people, usually within an organization, that are tasked with analyzing a certain problem, right? And so the Conference Board of Canada was asked by, I think it was the government of Canada, hey, let's look at the state of our employment pool in Canada. And let's go and let's ask employers, what are the most important skills that they want to see in employees, right? So what did they find? These were the fundamental skills that this think tank decided, after talking to thousands of employers, were most important. Communication was at the top. To read and understand information presented in a variety of forms, write and speak, listen and ask questions, share information using a variety of different techniques and technologies, and use relevant knowledge and skills to clarify those ideas, right? Communication was at the top of the list, right? Okay. So you might say, well, it's just a, it's just a think tank and they did a study, who cares? I still don't need to know. But Workopolis, one of the biggest job hunting sites in the world, they did their own study and they asked employers who were posting jobs on their own platform, hey, what are the most important things you want to see in an employee? Guess what were the top two? Communication skills and writing, right? Let's go deeper. Google, a fairly well-known company. They, in 2013, they did a study of all the employment data and the hiring and firing data that they have, right? Google is the king of data, right? They have so much data. They looked back at what made for a successful employee, right? Was it science, technology, math skills? Was it coding skills? Was it no, it was none of those. It was communication and listening, and it was critical thinking, right? Much like the things you'd find in an English degree rather than a programming degree. So if Google is saying this is the case, it's probably true. So again, back to the purpose of why we're here. Why are we doing COMM? Yes, we're trying to prepare you for the real workplaces, right? Having strong communication and writing skills and critical thinking skills, your employers will love you if you have them, right? You're going to do very well. You're going to get the job, keep the job, and get promotions, right? So these courses, everyone at Fanshawe and every college around the province has to take a COMM course, right? Yes, it's mandatory, but I hope you see now that it's kind of important, right? A lot of employers have been telling colleges for years, students are too informal, there's too much wordiness, grammatical errors like crazy, not enough knowledge of just like the basic, how do you create a report? How do you create a study, right? You'll learn that in this course. And the information processing problems that they found was like identifying the relevant sources. That's a struggle for a lot of students still. How to follow text written in a formal language, right? I know it's hard. It's hard for me too, but you gotta learn these techniques for how to understand these formal documents. Following instructions, that for me is super, super important because a lot of students, as I've said, lose marks for not following the instructions. Okay, so I'll ask you just to read the assignments twice at least to understand what I'm asking you. So I don't care where you started, whether you did RIT, whether you think you're a great writer or you're not, it doesn't matter. We're starting with a clean slate, right? This is a new year, essentially. So I'm hoping you will leave this class with like a renewed appreciation for the importance of writing. I'm a writer, I love writing. Like, okay, so I'm biased, but I really do think that once you understand the power in words, you'll also appreciate the importance of writing. I'm going to hopefully convince you of that this in the next 7 weeks. So let's set our intention here that we leave this class as a confident communicator, right? Okay, here are a few things you might want to write down for the tests, because this will definitely be on the quiz. There are 4 essential levels of communication, right? One level is critical communication. This is, and critical just means making a determination, making a judgment, right? Thinking critically is making a judgment. This involves reading people, choosing your words carefully, understanding what might be the consequences of you saying something, right? And we're gonna do a whole lecture on purpose, audience, and context, because you can look at your, like, what's the purpose of what I'm saying? What's the audience and how might they respond? And what's the context in which I'm doing it, right? What's the mood out there, right? So that's critical communication. there's an aspect of communication that is always emotional, right? Everybody's a human, so everyone has emotions. So an emotional communication would be something like supporting your employees, encouraging your customers to buy something, including people, listening to concerns, collaborating with your stakeholders, and then compromising, right? Those are all emotional types of communication. And essentially, a lot of communication is trying to get someone to do something, right? Which means you need to appeal to emotions. And then, of course, there's practical communications like sharing instructions, email that, hey, there's cake in the break room right now. Updates on a project, just connecting with someone, or maybe coordinating a team. That's practical. And then there's another aspect of communication that is technical, right? These are the nuts and bolts of communication, right? Your grammar. Why is grammar important? Because if you don't do it properly, people will not understand you, or they'll understand you, or they'll interpret you the wrong way. Spelling. Nobody should have a problem with this. It's the spell checker age. Let's make sure we're not having any spelling mistakes. And please, proper capitalization, proper punctuation, proper paragraph spacing, things like that, right? I'll help you. I'll guide you along the way with this stuff. Okay, so let's look at these in turn. How are we doing for time? 15 minutes. Okay. I think we can watch the video. Hang on. Where's the video? Okay. I didn't get it out. Hang on. Here somewhere. I'm going to give you an example of critical/emotional communication. I hope everyone can hear this too. If you can't hear the music, let me know. It's not critical, but it adds something. Let me set this video up for you. So this is an ad. Pause. Okay, this is a Pepsi ad that came out shortly after Donald Trump was elected. Can you all see this? The YouTube video? Check. No? Oh. Okay, let me try again.
No, we are seeing. Sorry, I thought you were asking if I have already seen.
Oh, you've seen it before? Yeah, no.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So the setup.
And we can hear the music either.
You hear it? Great.
Yeah.
So this is an ad that Pepsi came out with right after Donald Trump's first election, well, only election, I guess. People were protesting him in the streets, right? People were out there. They really hated this guy already, right off the bat, right? Didn't really give him a chance. So Pepsi thought, we're going to do something timely. We're going to jump on the bandwagon. We're going to make a video of people protesting in the streets, and well, I'll just let you watch it. Okay, you've got the gist of it. The police officer drinks the Pepsi and he smiles and everyone cheers, right? Is this a good video or a bad video, like, as an ad? Is it good for Pepsi or bad for Pepsi?
It's a cliche, I believe.
Thank you. That was the right answer. It was shit. It's the technical answer. Yes, it was shit. And why? Sorry, your name Fabiano. Why was it shit?
Sorry, I thought that it's a cliche. It's a basic advertising that makes the Pepsi as a connection, a good connection, a good how can I say a good entry in the different situations when the good and the bad and this kind of things. And the Pepsi could be the agreement of these two parts.
Right. So in reality, Pepsi was lambasted for this. They were destroyed in the media. Kendall Jenner was embarrassed by this. Boo-hoo, right? But it was the ad was pulled very quickly, and I don't know if they apologized or not, but it was called tone deaf, right? Someone at Pepsi failed to think critically about the audience, about the context, about the purpose. They tried to jump on a bandwagon and sort of be young and hip and cool, right? That's Pepsi's brand, supposedly, but they failed big time, and it backfired on them. So someone failed to think critically. And what they also did was they created an emotional backlash, right? People were offended. What does Pepsi have to do with protesting in the streets, right? So they failed to communicate on a number of levels. We have here my maybe not my most favorite person in the world, Donald Trump, with his usual tweet of the day. This was I forget what year, but he says, "Happy Cinco de Mayo. The best taco bowls are made in Trump Tower Grill. I love Hispanics," right? Obviously, this is another, and by the way, this guy's the king of falling on your face with communications. This was the epitome of poor communication, of insulting people, right? What the hell does taco bowls have to do with Hispanics, right? And Trump Tower Grill, come on. This was very insensitive, slightly racist, and he got spanked for this a little bit too. Not that anybody cared after a while. It was just a daily occurrence. Failure of communication. What else do we have here? Here are technical failures of communication, right? Back to Mr. Trump. Misspelling, right? Okay, we don't need that. Waste, it's the wrong waste, right? It should be W-A-S-T-E. Hey, let's be fair across party lines, right? Hillary did it too. She misspelled tomorrow, or her team did, right? Very embarrassing. Here, the White House, the president said something about promoting the possibility of lasting peace, right? I love a good peach as much as the next person, but it wasn't what they were trying to say. These little technical failures of communication hurt you. They hurt your credibility, make you look stupid. If you have even one typo on your resume, 50% of employers will toss it in the garbage immediately. That's what employers say. That's the statistics, right? So very, very important to have proper grammar and spelling, etc. I'm going to say here, you are what you speak and write. What you say, the content says something, but also how you say it says things about you, right? And this is maybe not fair, but look, it's what is a reality. Humans judge other humans based on what they say and how they write. If you have a clear message, if you have an articulate position, if you have robust sources, people will probably think you're a reliable source, confident, competent communicator, right? If you have typos and weak arguments and nobody can follow what you're saying, people will think you're dumb, right? I can't put it more plainly than that. People will judge you, whether it's fair or not. People will judge you based on how you write. So it's important to project proper communication style. This is an email sent from I think it was a headmaster at a school to the parents. 14 typos, brutal, right? And hopefully this was before spell checker. Obviously this person was in a rush, but this many typos, I would consider pulling my child out of the school if this is the quality of the education, right? Very embarrassing for this person, I'm sure. Can I have a volunteer, please? Can someone please read starting from the first line, the title, and just go down to mistakes I cannot see. Someone read loud and clear for me, please. Anybody?
The first line, the title.
Right from the top. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if I will pronounce right, but okay. I have a spelling checker. Continuing.
Yeah. So just read the first 4 lines.
Okay. I have a spelling checker. Oh, it's not a have.
You're doing great.
It came it came with my PC. It plainly marks for my for my review. Oh, it's difficult to read.
You're doing great. You're doing great. You got it.
Mistakes I cannot see.
Perfect.
I strike a key and type a word.
That's great. That's perfect. You can stop. So you can see here that these are all proper English words. Your spell checker will not catch this, right? I have a spelling checker that came with my PC. It plainly marks for my review mistakes I cannot see, right? When we speak it, the way we read it, you can understand it. But all of these would be incorrect, right? This is not the way you would say this, right? Or not the way you would write it, sorry. You would write it differently. Does everyone get that? Right? Your spelling checker will not catch this. Grammarly will not catch this. These are all words in the English language, but most of it is the wrong word, right? Mistakes, MISS is the abbreviation, or it's what you call an unmarried woman, a miss. Steaks are, from a cow you put on the barbecue. Mistake is spelled entirely different, right? Obviously. Hopefully this is clear. It's just a little silly exercise to prove to you that you can't rely on your spell checker. You have to review with your eyes. It's called proofreading, and preferably you do it more than once, right? One of the most famous and embarrassing things that I would see in my university career was, and the professor would just mercilessly berate people for this, instead of writing public, like public policy, they would write pubic, right? One letter missing, still a English language word, not exactly what they wanted to say though. Pubic policy, no, that's something entirely different. That's another course. You get me. Here's another little example with our favorite Simpsons characters. Cletus, hey Ma, look at a pointy-haired little girl. Right? Does he sound very intelligent and erudite? I don't think so. Whereas the aliens are much more well-spoken. You ingest this earthly confectionery for pleasure, right? Who sounds a little bit more together and intelligent? I'll let you decide. But it was just a typo, right? I hear a lot of people say that. Just a typo, right? Unfortunately, when you have a typo or other poor communication skills, it destroys your credibility, gives people a bad impression of you, creates stress for you and the other person, confusion, could maybe remain on your permanent record if you make a really big mistake. It can decrease morale in your office or your group or your organization, leads to absenteeism and people getting injured, right? If you don't have the proper safety notification on the wall, people can get hurt. You can lose profits, clients, and staff for these types of communication errors, right? It can cost a lot of money too. And whether it's fair or not, people equate your lack of attention to detail and your errors with intelligence and job performance. So, take this stuff seriously. It's not just a typo. And I want to leave you with a quote here that I love. How you do anything is how you do everything. If you're making mistakes in an email to your boss and it's just your boss, well, you probably are going to be careless with other things as well, right? So do this properly. Do everything properly. We're on time. Okay, so we're basically at time. We're almost there. One thing that you'll want to know, this first line here will be on the test. Communication's central objective, like why do we do communication, is to transmit meaning, right? So I have something I want to say. I have a meaning that I want to express to you all of you. But communication is only successful when the receiver, so the person reading the letter, understands the idea as the sender intended it. And it sounds really easy. I'm going to tell you, I want you to go and pick up, my groceries from the grocery store. But you go to the wrong grocery store, right? You misunderstood what I was telling you. It sounds simple to do this, but it's not. And hey, Mr. George Bernard Shaw, one of the preeminent thinkers of forever, says the single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that has taken place. People think they understand, but they haven't. And sometimes that's on the receiver because they just misinterpreted. but oftentimes it's on you. More so, it's on you that maybe you weren't clear. Maybe you need to be a little bit better of a communicator. So this is why we want to make sure that the receiver understands what we're saying. And here, I think this is my last slide. I'll leave you with this little funny example. There are two different statements here. Let's eat, Grandma, and let's eat, Grandma, right?
That is so hilarious.
Right? It's a comma, right? But it changes from like having a nice meal with your grandmother to cannibalism, right? We don't want the former. So the comma changes the entire meaning of the sentence, right? That's the power of grammar, right? So anyway, remember this image. If anyone wants to share quickly, we are over time, but if anyone wants to share quickly, can you recall an instance where your meaning, whether you wrote something to someone or speaking to them, was misunderstood? Or maybe you know a friend who got in trouble because they said something that was misunderstood or misinterpreted? I love hearing these stories. Nobody? Nobody has a funny story? All right, well, if you guys don't want to have fun, I will be less fun.
Probably
Oh,
I have some, but I don't remember now.
That's okay.
Yeah, the same with me. I have a lot of mistakes, and I heard a lot of mistakes every time, all the time. But right now, I just don't remember anyone. Sorry.
You all maybe know the show Arrested Development, or even Seinfeld.
Yeah, Seinfeld.
Yeah, those shows are almost entirely based around miscommunications.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
very funny ones. But unfortunately, in real life, they're not always so funny, right? So we want to make sure that we're communicating in a clear way. I will help you do that. Your other professor will help you do that. So that's it for me. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope to see you next Wednesday. It is optional that Wednesday now, from now on, but I encourage you to come. I'm going to run you through the assignments so you're going to get a better mark just by showing up, right?
Okay.
And ask all your questions. So see you next week. Thanks for coming. And
thank you for the class.
Thank you.
Thank you
your
for
assignments due next Wednesday at midnight. So please don't leave it till the last minute. It's just a quick one. Go write some stuff.
Okay.
Okay. See
Sure.
you
Thanks,
guys.
everybody.
Bye bye.
Later.
Bye, Renata. See you.
Bye bye, Fabiana.